This is Fieldsports Channel News. The Westminster Government is pushing ahead with its plans to converge Section 1 and Section 2 firearms. This means that shotgun shooters will have to go through the same procedure as someone wanting to own a rifle. The government is pushing ahead with its plans despite a funding crisis in firearms licensing. Avon and Somerset Constabulary has posted a message on its website to say it no longer has enough staff to answer the phone.
Licensing departments are so hard pressed now with everything that they're being asked to do, and in many cases without the resources to do them, that when it comes to renewing certificates of registration for registered firearms dealers, it's being kept to the last minute.
The government plan will hit small businesses and the rural community hardest, areas that the government promised it was keen to protect and level up. The official reason is to improve public safety, yet firearms-related crime is the only area of crime that is decreasing in the UK, and legally held firearm crime in the UK is almost non-existent. Conservative MP Greg Smith calls on certificate holders to lobby their MPs personally.
We've always said that if Labour got into power, after they've gone after hunting, they will come after shooting. And we're seeing the first steps in that in a consultation, a bonkers consultation. There is really no need to even go there on, but a consultation to completely change the way that shotgun and firearms licensing works. The most pernicious part of that being trying to reclassify shotguns from Section 2 to Section 1. That would completely change everyone who's got a shotgun certificate in this country, talking about citing land that you will shoot on your certificate, all sorts of other conditions, having to lock up shotgun cartridges separately in the way firearms ammunition has to be locked up separately. I think that is just a step that will drive thousands away from perfectly legal, legitimate clay shooting, game shooting, pest control on farms, and it's something that we really need everybody that loves and cares about shooting in this country to make their voices heard in this consultation when the government launches it, and tell them just how unnecessary this is.
Keir Starmer's government says it plans to ban trail hunting and will launch a consultation. Speaking at Hunting Kind's Wildlife Management Conference in Westminster, Reform announced a policy of repealing any Labour ban on trail hunting. Head of Reform in Wales, David Jones, made the announcement to applause from delegates.
Any ban on trail hunting would be an act of vindictiveness and not an act of animal welfare. And our position is very clear. If this government proceeds with a ban on trail hunting and enacts it, the next Reform administration will reverse that ban, because we think that it's an unfair and illogical ban, and we don't believe that it ought to be on the statute book.
And we have a full report from that conference later in the show. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh have officially opened Purdy's new gun shop in Berkshire. The royal couple went to the Royal Berkshire Shooting School to open the shop, which has been 7 years in the planning. Purdy took over the shop in 2018. There's a new film about the shop on our Field Tester channel. Link below. A rifle that belongs to Annie Oakley has failed to sell at an auction house in Sussex. The 19th century American sharpshooter who inspired the musical Annie Get Your Gun owned the George Henry Dorr 408 pinfire smoothbore target gun. It went up for auction but failed to make its reserve. Burstow and Hewitt auctioneers said the £19,000 offered was under the minimum asking price. A Norwegian hunter has shot a moose that had 12 metres of telephone cable wrapped around its antlers. Local people had to watch the animal dragging the wire for weeks. Then carpenter Therese Tenold shot it at 10 metres. The cable was wrapped so tightly around the moose's head that Therese had to use tools to untie it. The local telephone company says the cable is from its old copper network. It adds that a clean-up is continuing. Thanks to Per Holmseth for the story. A deer stalking week we arranged for Browning has gone out on French TV and now is available on YouTube. The episode of Expedition Nature takes the viewers from deer stalking in the south of France to the north of Scotland. Fieldsports Channel arranged the Scottish segment. French hunting TV personality Tonton Juju accompanies Fieldsports Channel regular Adrian Kootenay from Browning on a wet outing on a Sutherland hill. There's a link below to the half-hour show, which automatically translates into English. Hunters are ordinary people. That's the conclusion of a new report in Spain, which looks at the income and education of Spanish hunters. Prepared by the Artemisin Foundation and accountant Deloitte, it finds that the average monthly income of a Spanish hunter is just over €2,000, and that nearly half of them are salaried employees. Despite this income, they spend an average of €12,000 a year on hunting, fuel and accommodation. Around 40% of Spanish hunters have a university or postgraduate degree, a percentage higher than the national average. And finally, Wintercombe Gun Dogs posts a clip of a tactical swerve from a couple of seasons ago. Thanks to Greg Hill for the link, it's a good shot by the 14-year-old lad. And it nearly wipes him out. Put that down as a miss. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts. Fieldsports Channel members get more. Every week there's Fieldsports Extra, our exclusive show packed with behind-the-scenes clips, interviews and a free prize draw. Plus, membership gives you access to our Fieldsports Advice Bureau for help with shooting and firearms licensing, with our in-house lawyer on your side. And with our insurance, you're covered for £5 million public liability for shooting activities across the UK, as well as legal expenses cover. Join today so we can keep the pressure on and the volume up.